today is actually something that was made on the spur of the moment. I was inspired by Mr. Beast's project of planting 20 million trees for the year 2020, which is insanely close, and may not even be easy to do, but the biologist student in me wants to see this project succeeding.
No, but seriously, we want to plant 20 million trees and a little bit of rain. Never hurt anyone.
After seeing his video, this gave me the idea of making a package that is tree inspired. I hope this helps spread awareness to his cause, and please check his video as well, link is in the description. Now this leader ability is very simple. Although, with the current treants in Gwent, this may not get the best value possible, which is why I also made a treant with 2 power so it becomes possible to get that 11 points. The Tree of Babiel actually has a lot of flavor despite of it just being a simple card that slams 11 points or maybe even 12 if you manage to have a treant with 1 power. For now I think the power is really good, but nerfing it down to 11 is also fairly balanced as well, so I'm curious what number you think is right. 9 power is just mean and boring, besides I didn't even made any 1 powered spawns for this package since Gwent already has enough spawns to deal with. For those who don't know, the tree actually comes from the Witcher Netflix trailer. Unfortunately I don't know about the lore of it, but I have something better related to it. There's actually this bug in the Witcher Wild Hunt back in its early days, and it turned the trees purple, so in the flavor I just mentioned Lucas from CDPR because he was one of the people who responded to that problem. The name of the token itself is gotten from his family name, but the name itself is also inspired from the Tower of Babel. Now the new keyword in this package is Pollinate. It can be maximized by using Overgrowth, but without using the leader ability it's still not so easy to kill the seed. It may look off since once 2 seeds are in the board the multiplication becomes rampant, but it's only a 3 powered unit so there's a limit to how much seeds you can have in the board. Also, even with the leader ability there is still some setup that's needed. For the lore, I was so tempted to just call this beast, the Beast or Jimmy, but that's not too lore friendly, especially since this treant is very witty. This card was really fun to make. It's inspired from that treant 4, but rather than moving, this card just transforms, which is its own form of healing and reset rather than using a cooldown. This is slightly better than 4, that's why it's a little bit expensive, especially since there are 3 powered engines that need stomping. Get it? LOL. This token is rather weak, but this card needs to have a weakness to justify its provisions. Although, I believe that when there is risks there should be a reward, so the ability works by boosting Gargantuan Stump whenever this token survives with its armor intact. Just like Pollinate, I made the wording not so specific to treants because there is a potential to use these abilities for more cards in the future. Like renaming Pollinate is easier than restructuring the ability itself to work on other cards. I was thinking of Harmony when I made this card. I always wondered why CDPR made druids exclusive to Scale Line, even though in Witcher 1 there were druids that worked with Scoia'tael. Then again that might have been just neutral and tolerated the presence of dryads and elves, but since that's the situation at the moment, I just looked for art and found this spectacular piece of work. I decided to use Knight and Spectre since this would increase the category for Harmony just as well as using Druid. This can be either a guaranteed 4-powered unit for those who love to play semi-unitless, or it can help pollination by transforming into a treant. For the treant walker, I am still torn whether it should have 2 armor or just 1. Balance-wise I think 2 armor is a little too rich, but 1 armor makes it a little bit underwhelming when compared to that Dwarf Dual Faction Brute. That's why I didn't want to make this token into an actual card that you can add in your deck. Now I'm really milking Lucas' name here. Also, the one who reported the issue on Reddit took a screenshot while having Jenny of the Woods quest active. As a powerful and expensive sage as he is, I gave him the power to spawn these mini versions of Belial seeds. They are easier to kill, but there are 2 of them to deal with, so spawning can get out of control a little bit faster, but locking your row with a bunch of 2s may not be the greatest idea, so I think these little critters can't be abused so easily. Surprisingly, this critter along with the art style is very compatible with the Witcher series. I know that the game is full of gore and epicness, but it's not far-fetched that the world Gerald lives in must have some things like this. The Great Oak must have started from somewhere, right? In the flavor, for copyright reasons I'm not going to fully rip off Groth's language. This card was a little bit hard to create. Making this package was like playing Seasonal Blitz against a dragon, or maybe I was just a little bit sleepy. Doing a 6-point transform with this card is slightly difficult, and it's going to be stale if that was its only purpose. That's why rather than transforming an allied unit, I was curious as to what if it just transforms any unit in the battlefield. With this card I think you can fairly eliminate some cards that are annoying to deal with, like defenders. Still, I'm not hating on them since I do use them myself, but cards with Purify really need some improvement. As you might notice, most of my treants have Doom in them. This is to further prevent more abuses that involves the graveyard, like Jalmer's damage, or Ozzel's boost. This may not mitigate their respective abilities completely, but it's a cheap card that can somewhat limit their choices to a degree. Forest Fire is part of nature, both as a card and in real life, but natural forest fires do occur without human intervention. That's why something as tragic as this can't be prevented sometimes. Although, if we're being lore-friendly here, most of the time after the fire goes out new trees are nourished. Due to how massive the fires have been lately, reforestation is struggling to replenish what was lost. That's why I applaud Mr. Beast for doing this massive project. For now this is the last card. This package may not be as massive as the last one, but this is focused on just treants and anything related to trees. This is definitely a better version of Tainted Ale, that's why it should obviously be very expensive. So far 12 provisions is fair. Any more than that is just too much to add in a deck, especially when the existing treants are already expensive in Gwent. For now this is all I can do for the cost. I hope that awareness to Mr. Beast's causes spread more and that he successfully plants all those trees before the year starts again. I hope other custom card makers also make cards relating to treants, so please feel free to use anything from this package, from the arts to the keyword itself. Again, check the links in the description. With each helping hand it makes planting 20 million trees a little bit faster and realistic than it normally would.